Now the third method is called compass radial survey. So here's that term again, that radial. And compass, as radial meaning coming from a central position. And compass, well, you understand compass as the north, south, east, west points. And I'm sure that you would also associate compass with bearings, which is very relevant in this case. So you can see not a triangular field, but it's got 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got measurements radiating from the centre, so from a central position out to each of those corners. And you've got measurements of 73, 57, 62 and 60. The thing that is missing or makes it different to the previous situation is that we don't have any angles in the centre here. However, if you look out at the point representing the corner, you can actually see the reading of an angle. So 0, 50, 129, 206 and 263. Now, as you can possibly guess for yourself, these values of the angles that are given certainly don't represent the angle at the middle. What they actually represent is the true bearing of each corner. So remember, to get a true bearing, you need the angle from due north. So let me put that in. From due north is up here. And so we've got the angle around to W would be this 50 degrees. The total angle from due north down here to X is 129 degrees. And yet we would say that from due north out here to X, yes, that's certainly bigger than 90, and it's less than 180. So a measure of 129 seems logical. Around to Y, and again we're going from due north, so this time we're down here to Y, and we can see that we're bigger than 180, but certainly less than 270 degrees. So somewhere between 180 and 270, which is this 206. Z is also placed out here, and it is also just less than 270 at 263 degrees all the way around. So that's what those values represent, and it is then those angles that we will use to find some angles inside the triangles and use either, and so you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles, and none of them are right angled. So we're moving away from any right angle trigonometry to non-right angle trigonometry, which is, remember, the sine rule, the cosine rule, and we can get the area of a triangle. So let's have a look at the questions. And A asks you to find the size of angle ZOW. Start at Z, go to O, and then to W. So we can see that ZOW is obtuse. I've put the true north line back in. That will enable us to say that angle ZOW is made up of NOW, so it's made up of this angle here from N to O to W plus Z to O to N. Now, it's nice setting it up that way because N to O to W is the angle from due north in a clockwise direction up to W. Now that's exactly what was written there, because remember, these values represent the true bearing. So we can see that angle NOW is 50. And we need to add on now the angle on the left-hand side. Now, what would that be? We know that all the way around is 360 degrees, and we want to take off this 260 degrees to see how much is left. So in doing 360, subtract 263, which is 97, and when we add the 50 and the 97, we get 147. So the size of the angle in there at the middle, in triangle ZOW, is 147. Now that nicely takes us on to part B, which is calculate the area of triangle ZOW. Correct to 2 sig figs. So area, it's a non-right angle triangle. So we use the formula half AB sine C. A and B are the two sides either side of the included angle. And remember, in most questions where there's a part A, you use your answer somewhere later in the question. So you're going to use it directly here in B, because this angle 147 ends up being the angle that goes in this position. It's because it's in between the two given sides. So it's a half 60 times 73 times sine 147, which is 1192 point. Well, I'll just write it to 0.8, 1192. But, and there are more places, the question says to round to the nearest, or correct to 2 sig figs, which actually means we're going to cut off here. Now, that also then means that we won't have anything after the decimal point. We will fill in these two places, the 9 and the 2, with 2 zeros, which means that second one goes to a 2. And these are units squared to 2 sig figs. Okay, I think you'll be right now to do 510.